In this video, I'd like to demonstrate a feature in ezEML that lets you do bulk editing of the properties of the columns of a data table. Let me just show you what I mean. I will load a data table from a CSV file. And as usual, as ezEML loads it, it interprets the contents of the CSV file and infers as many properties of the data table and of the columns as it can. In particular, it has found all these columns and has inferred or guessed the variable type for each and a number of other properties of the columns, but there are certain things that it cannot figure out. It doesn't know the definition of the columns. It doesn't know the units for numerical variables and so on. So there are things that you have to enter, as you know, and in the past you've had to do that by clicking on edit properties and filling in the form, doing that one at a time for each of the properties. Instead, now you have the option of generating a spreadsheet which contains all of the properties for all of the tables, all of the columns, and then you can edit the spreadsheet, save it, and upload it back up to ezEML, and the values will all be entered all at once. So let's see what that looks like. I will download a spreadsheet. It downloads to my downloads folder as usual, and then open it in a spreadsheet program. I've chosen to do it in Microsoft Excel. You can use the spreadsheet program of your choice. It's an XLSX file, which is openable by any spreadsheet program. So now what do we have here? This is the values of the that are in the columns currently are all entered in the spreadsheet. There's a section that has the attributes that are common to all any type of column, whether it's numerical text or whatever. They all have a definition. They all may have missing value codes and so on. So that's what this section is here, all for all the columns. Then for the columns that are numerical columns, there's a section for them which has the attributes that are specific to numerical columns. In particular, columns need a unit. Numerical columns need a unit, which could be a standard unit or a custom unit. I've highlighted here that the standard units, because that's typically what you enter, but you're welcome to enter a custom unit. I'll show you that in a minute. And then there's a section for date time columns and for categorical columns. In the case of categorical columns, the columns are oriented vertically, so all the codes will go down rather than across, just to make it easier to read and to do copy paste operations. And as you see, the entries that need to be filled in are highlighted. The things that are required are in this reddish color, recommended are in the yellow color, but all these other cells can be filled in. They're just optional, so they're shown as white. So in this case, I would just start entering the values for the various things. You might have a list of the column definitions, in which, in another file, in which case you could just do copy paste and drop them in here and so on. So rather than have you watch me type all this stuff, what I will do is open a spreadsheet that where I've already entered the values for this table. And I've I filled in the things that were required. I did in this one case down here, I chose to have a custom unit instead of a standard unit, and I also added some missing value codes. And in the categorical column, there was an additional code P. Now I've intentionally made some mistakes here. The code P needs a definition, and I haven't put that in. The custom unit should have a description, which I haven't entered, and the missing value codes require an explanation, which in a couple of cases I have not entered. And I did that just so we can see what happens when you leave some things out. So this is the table after I've the spreadsheet after I've filled everything in and saved it. And now I come back to ezEML and I upload it. So I need to just find the spreadsheet that I saved, hit upload. And we see now that all the columns were all red. Now they're almost all green, but there's a couple that still have issues, and those are the ones where I intentionally made a mistake. So, for example, in the usual way, I can click on the badge and see what the problem is. Missing value code explanation is required. And if I want, I can click that, and it takes me right to the page where I can enter it. So I can fix the issues that way by going to them one at a time, clicking on them and editing in the properties page for that column. Or I can come back and download the spreadsheet again, open it, and because I downloaded it again, the the ezEML had the opportunity to not only enter in the values that I've added, but to show me where things are required or recommended that I've left out. So it's showing me here that I need the custom unit description, the missing value code explanations, and the definition of the categorical code. So now if I enter those and save it and go back to ezEML and upload it. Now everything's green. Now, if I had, on the first pass, if I had filled in everything correctly, it would have all gone green all at once without having to do the iteration. But I just wanted to show you that you can iterate. Every time you do a download, it gives you the state of the table as it currently exists. You don't have to start over. Going back to the table now, the columns are all good, but there's still an issue. What is that? The table description needs to be filled in. I'm just making something up. Save changes. And now the table is green. And since that was the only table and it's green, then the whole data table section is green. And that's the process. So instead of editing the column properties one at a time, now you can do them in a spreadsheet. Thank you.